Welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host. Of course, you know exactly where I am. I'm at Quirky Minds Media Studios, which is owned by James Kelly. And he's been he's been wonderful to me because, you know, we had this COVID and everything, and he opened up his studio and the whole bit. So I'm very grateful. Thank you, James. And of course, you know who's sitting right next to me. Reoccurring guest. I mean, this woman is, to my mind, is amazing.
Oh.
I've seen her perform a couple of times, Rose Kingsley. And I've seen you perform a couple of times, and the first time I saw you, and then the second time was totally different. It was like seeing two different shows.
And there's a third and a fourth and a fifth one. There are.
You've got lots of different shows.
I do.
So she's a lady of many talents, and she's also performed with the royal family of England, which, because I'm very proud of being English, you know.
Oh, yes. I learned how to be very proper.
Did you?
They taught me how to be very proper.
Well, not everybody in England is proper. I don't know why they think English people are very proper. We are taught, though, I have to admit, the families, mums and dads, whatever language you speak, because there's so many different dialects in England. You know, there's the low class, the high class, the middle class,
That's right.
And that all actually is how you speak is what you fit in.
Right.
It's not how much money you have.
Right.
In English, not the money. It's how you talk. Isn't that weird?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not so much in this country, but
in this country is definitely your bottom line. Your bottom line is who you are and where you're going and what you are. I'm still trying to work it out. I don't know if I've ever reached that bottom line yet. I don't know. But anyway, I'm here.
Oh,
Rose, how are you?
I'm good. Getting ready for my show.
This is our third show.
Yeah, my third. It's September 19th.
September. Oh, a couple of weeks.
And it's a
3 weeks.
wonderful afternoon of Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh my goodness.
You know, your
is
neighbor.
Yes, of course. Amazing.
Sir Andrew.
Yes, I think he's a
He was knighted.
Yes, he was definitely.
He was knighted.
They all get knighted, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Even one of the Beatles got knighted. Paul McCartney.
Yes,
he got knighted.
Yes, he got knighted too.
And then at Virgin Airlines, he got knighted. Richard Branson, he's knighted.
He's knighted.
So why am I not?
You're next.
Am I
I called the
No,
Queen.
but I can't be Sir. So what am I? I'm a princess. I can't be prince. I gotta have a. So isn't that? I wonder what a madame.
I never thought of that.
No, because I'm just talking about it, thinking they're all men, but
they are.
Oh. Oh. What are we gonna do about it? We do have a queen.
Yeah, maybe Dame.
Dame.
Yes.
I think it's Dame.
You know why? Because Margot Fontaine.
Yes,
she was knighted.
Dame. She was knighted, and she was
Dame Margot.
See,
yes,
it takes Rose to find out.
Well, because I was a member of the Royal Academy of
Dancing. So
right?
Yes,
and I remember I remember when they knighted her.
Yeah.
So it's Dame. Now we know.
Now we're all right. And she was a ballerina, very famous ballerina.
Of course, there's nothing like a Dame.
There's nothing like a Dame. Why am I singing? Oh, no, last thing I should do is sing in front of Rose.
No. We're starting lessons very shortly.
Somebody else just said that they can change voices and everything else and make me sound great.
Oh.
I thought, how cool is that?
Oh, yeah.
There's time yet. There's time yet to get that voice up.
She'll be having her own singing show shortly.
I don't know if I've got time.
Yes. No, plenty.
Now, back to you.
Okay, so our show on September 19th is the afternoon of Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes.
And I'm bringing in my colleague from the Metropolitan Opera.
Oh, really?
Alan Glassman, who's fabulous, an international opera star. And he has sung Phantom.
Oh,
and, of course, moi.
Yes.
And my conductor from the Metropolitan Opera is coming.
So you've got a real...
It's a show
You've got a lineup.
It is, and it's a show that we actually have been touring with because we did the show in New York at Feinstein's.
Yes.
We did the show in the Hamptons.
Yes.
We did the show in Atlantic City. We did the show in Portland, and we're taking it to Chicago, and then we're going to be taking it back to Florida. So it's a great show.
Yes.
So people, you need to come and see this.
Absolutely.
And we do excerpts from Evita, Jesus Christ Superstar. store, Sunset Boulevard.
So you got a different variety this time to the last show I saw.
Right, the last show was, it was more the Great American Songbook.
Yes, it was all
Right.
it was all American songs, and it was fabulous too.
It was.
But this is going to be a little different.
But this, now you're going to get to hear Rose do quite a bit of opera sound. So
a little more.
think of me fondly when we've said goodbye. That's from Phantom.
Right, Phantom of the
So we're going to do a whole segment of Phantom.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So are you excited? Now, how much do you have? You're a singer, born singer.
Not born.
Not born?
No, I have a gift.
You have a gift.
That God gave a gift. Now I had to work on it.
Well, you had to work. I was going to ask you that.
Right.
So it's like anything.
Right.
You have to work on it.
Oh,
and
sure.
You have to put it out there. So it's actually how much you work on it or how far you want to get is what you do, right?
Right.
So you must have worked very, very hard.
I worked very hard. I did. And I think, I came from being a ballerina.
Yes.
Which the breathing is totally different.
Yes.
And I, wanted to sing so badly that I had to learn to reinvent myself and my breathing. Because as a dancer...
Controlling it.
Right. And as a dancer, you shallow breathe because you don't want anybody to see you break that line.
Yeah, because you have to be so sort of pure.
Right.
No, not 1 inch of fat, nothing.
Nothing. And then when you learn to sing classical, everything goes the other way. It goes,
yeah.
Yeah, so it took
and
me
it's allowed to go that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to, one day I would be perfect, and the next day they'd say to me, what happened? And I go, I don't know, because I really didn't know.
Lost it.
I don't know why.
I
guess it was because, it was the technique, but it took me a while and I learned it.
But then you learned it, so now you can do either.
Yes, I can transition.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there's a university in Chicago that wants me to come and teach
Which one
opera
is that?
singing. It's called the Roosevelt University,
Roosevelt.
and they're in Chicago, and they want me to come and teach their opera singers how to transition from opera to doing jazz and
which is what you're doing right now.
Correct.
Because Rose was, very, very much into the opera side of life, and suddenly, if she this jazz coming in a little bit, which is I was just talking to another guest about. Putting classical and jazz and putting it together.
Yes.
And making it into a song or whatever lyrics, however it's called these days. I'm confused. CDs, whatever they all are.
Well, when I debuted at Birdland in New York, which is the jazz capital of the world.
Yes.
There I was sitting in the dressing room, and there was Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and all these great singers. I'm going, what am I doing here? Coming from the Metropolitan Opera. And so we got on stage and we planned this, my pianist. We started now, picture this, it's Birdland, New York City.
Yes.
Full audience coming to hear jazz. And I get up there and I start with Quando me vo from my poem. Quando me vo. And I saw the look.
Are we in the right place?
Wait a minute. Where is my... Oh, it says Birdland. Yeah. So, and then halfway in between the aria, my pianist stopped and he said, Rose? And I said, what? He said, this is not the Metropolitan Opera. This is Birdland. You gave me the wrong music. And I went, oops. And we went into, so you met someone who set you back on your heels. And the audience went crazy.
I've gone crazy. Never mind the audience. I've gone crazy.
That was cool.
And you can, because you keep going with that one. Go.
Goody. And so you met someone who set you back on your heels. Goody. Yeah, and it's a Mercer tune.
I love how you can transition from one to the other.
Yeah,
because people don't really expect that. They
don't. And that evening was, and in the audience that night was a producer from a wonderful Broadway show called Ruthless, the musical. And his name is Joel Paley. And after the show, he came up to me and he said, Rose, I'm Joel Paley. I'm the producer of Ruthless on Broadway. And he said, I need to talk to you. And he said, I I've heard the songs you did. I did Mercer and Evening,
Yeah.
Johnny Mercer. He said, but I've never heard them the way you've done them.
Yeah.
And he said, emotionally, he said, we need to talk. So we went out to dinner, and the next night he said, I want you to come and see the Broadway show.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, and he said, I want you specifically to pay attention to the lead, because that's what I want you to do.
Oh,
And he offered me the lead. The show right now is in England. It's
Yeah.
actually in London.
So when he offered you the lead, what did you feel?
The lead of the
kind of say yes, I'll do it. Because,
well, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
It
of
didn't
course,
take
yeah.
much to say yes.
Yeah.
I went yes. And but the funny part of it, the lead, is really an I guess an agent who's also a vocal teacher who takes a little girl and transitions her into a singer. So he said, Rose, this is the part for you, and I need someone with a big voice. And so right now the show's in London, but he wants to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
So he said...
and if he brings it back, you'll be playing the lead.
I'll be the lead.
You'll be the
Yeah.
lead again. And that will be in New York.
It will be in New York, and he also wants to bring it to California.
Oh, great.
It was
do you
originally in
like, Do you
California.
like New York?
Yes, it was my home.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
love New York.
It's
I
the greatest
love it.
city in the world. I mean, it needs to come back a little more.
It has to come back.
Yeah, it's had a
But
rough time.
you know what? I look at all these different cities that have gone through so much, and maybe they all needed a transition.
Could be.
Not in the way it happened, because it was
Yeah.
rather disastrous.
Right.
It was really not the right way to do
Right,
it
right,
at all,
correct.
with everything.
Right.
And but also at the same time, now they're coming back. So let's look at what they're coming back to, and and make it happen. Because I've heard a lot of people say how much they love New York.
It is.
And they say, are they going back to New York? Yes, of course. We're not leaving New York.
It's the greatest city in the world, you
It
know?
is.
I mean,
There's
you
only
know,
one New York.
That's for sure.
There's only one London.
And there's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Rose Kinsley.
Oh,
she's
well,
she's
thank
such
you.
a favorite of mine.
Thank you.
Because I love what
love
you're
you too.
coming back. You're bringing it back again.
I am, yeah.
And
And
were
I'm-
you frightened about doing that, or afraid, or worried
Of
about
doing-
coming back into the entertainment business and doing it? You're kind of doing it full time now.
Oh, well, I think there was a time when I taught, I was professor of voice
Yes.
for about 13 years, and I was nurturing other young artists who are
Correct.
now on stages all over the country. And I produced operas.
Yeah.
And now that I'm back on the stage, as if we never said goodbye from Sunset Boulevard,
No.
it's great. I mean, that's where...
That's where your heart is.
I've always been happy on a stage.
Yeah.
I have, you know?
And that's why you perform so well on the stage, because it's so natural to you.
Oh, it's
like
part
a
of my
second
soul.
It's in your soul. It's like
It
a second
is.
home. She comes out and she sings and she doesn't. Nothing bothers her. It's like it flows. It's like a river. It flows. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you for being a
Absolutely.
fan.
Yeah. I am a big fan of yours.
I know you are.
So,
and
what
I'm
would you tell the younger generation of what you've been through and how you've been through it? What should they do to get into it, because it's so hard?
It is. It's a tough business. I've always said to my students, need to know your craft. You need to know. It's like having a big apple pie, and you've got to have all the pieces.
Yes.
You need to be a good actress. You need to know, in the opera world, you need to know your languages. You
Yeah.
need to know what you're singing. You need to be a good musician. Because when you're on a stage, regardless of how many musicians you have, like at the Met we have 100-piece orchestra, you better know your music.
You have to know all of them.
Well,
What
I
they're
mean,
doing.
you better
Not
know
personally, but your music.
No, your music, because you've got a conductor right there that's going like this. You better follow him. He
Yes.
doesn't follow you. You
No,
follow
you've
him.
got to follow him.
Right. So you need to know that, and you need to have a good instrument.
Yeah.
And most of all, you have to have tenacity.
Tenacity, I think.
Don't
is
give
one of
up.
the- yeah.
If you have that pie and you
Yeah.
know you've got all those pieces, something's going to happen.
Yes.
Something's going to happen
Yeah.
as long as you don't give up.
And don't give up, and
No.
and be positive. And
Absolutely.
be around positive people. Don't
Yes.
be around the negative people, which we all know. Through our
Yes.
careers, we've actually finally, it's taken both of us all this time to find out that there are people out there that are not on your side.
And that's going to happen. And that's
yes,
going to happen. And when they say it's lonely at the top, oh, it is.
It is.
It
I
really
remember
is.
when I first met Hal Roach. You know who Hal
Sure.
Roach was. Hal Roach was a very good friend of ours,
Oh.
and he was very lonely. but he was a very well-known man.
Absolutely.
Very well-known, and we became very good friends. We started going out and all sorts of, and then I founded the Hal Roach Awards at Loyola Marymount University.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I founded that,
Oh.
brought Hal Roach back into the picture, and we honoured, we actually honoured Audrey Hepburn, Bob Hope,
Oh, wow.
Henry Mancini, Bartholomew, Bob Hope. Oh, we did all the top people. Roger Moore. We did all of them, all the top people. Yeah, that was
Oh,
all.
my
When I
goodness.
started that.
Yeah, and,
I have quite
his,
a career going
his
back.
daughter married Scott Carpenter, the
Yes,
astronaut.
that's right, the astronaut.
Yeah.
Oh, funny, because we were talking about that the other day.
Yes.
Maria.
Right,
Maria. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he had 3 daughters.
That's right.
Yeah, he had 3 daughters.
That's right. And a funny story about that is with the original 7 astronauts, which Scotty was, they all had, before they went into space, because it was unknown then,
Yes.
they all had to have vasectomies. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they all did. So when Scott married Maria, and they wanted to have, Scott said to my friend Alan Shepard, he goes, you know, she wants to have a baby, and Alan looked at him knowing that he had a vasectomy, and he said, so who's going to be your stand-in, Scotty? True story.
Oh, well, that's one for the ears, isn't it?
Well, that's also in my next show coming up, The Diva and the Astronaut.
The diva, and of course, well, you were very into astronauts, weren't
Yeah,
you? You got into that whole thing.
oh yes.
Yes, you were always into the astronaut.
That was the
business.
second love of mine.
That was the second love.
The astronaut
So,
business.
wait a second. Well, what was the first love?
Well, my music.
So, what about the husband?
Oh, we're talking about 2 different things here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
see.
Okay, so one's on one side and one's on the other. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
your love of entertainment and
Oh,
all that
I'm sorry.
stuff.
Yes.
We'll get
I
back to that.
gotcha. Well, see, they're going to have to come to see this play because it is a true story. It is, they say fairy tales can come true. And they
Yes.
can. When you idolize someone, as I idolized an astronaut
Yes.
as a little girl, and I carried the torch for him.
And he came into your
then
life.
He came into my life 25
This is a
years
true
later.
story.
And the love and feelings I had for him, he
Well,
had
you had
for
a love
me.
affair with. You were married. You had a love affair with him. He was married.
Yes.
I know you don't mind me saying this.
No.
He was married and had a love affair with you, and they both knew.
Both of our spouses
They
knew,
both
and
knew.
it was okay.
But that's the whole thing. It was all okay.
Right.
I'm
and you have to
swallowing it.
see the play to understand why. Yes,
Why it was okay.
Why it was okay.
I'm trying to imagine it, but I think I'm understanding. I think I know why.
you'll see.
I think I'm gonna. She won't tell me.
I'll tell you. I'll tell
Later.
you in private.
Can we say
Yeah.
it now? No.
Well,
I'm gonna spoil the play.
absolutely. And of course, the man was Admiral Alan Shepard, who was the first in space.
Yes, he was the first
And he
in
was the
space.
5th man to walk on the moon, and he was the first human to ever play golf on the moon.
He was hitting the balls, right?
Yes. He took a 6-iron, and only about 3 or 4 people knew, and he chopped it all up and took it to the moon, and when
Opened
he
it all up.
got it on, and because the spacesuit was so bulky, each arm was out to here, he could only use one hand.
Yeah.
One arm.
To hit the ball.
And he hit it, and
Did he address the ball like Jackie Gleason? Remember Jackie Gleason? Jackie Gleason, he went to play golf. And he said, you have to address the ball first, and you have to say, "Good afternoon, ball."
That's right. I remember that.
Remember
Yeah.
that? So
Remember
did this
that?
astronaut, did he address the ball?
He addressed the ball on the moon, and
You're
he
on the
did.
moon, ball.
But I do remember Alan did say. He said, "Why you're going to see something," as he was televised from
Yes,
the moon.
yeah.
He said, "I have in my hand a little white object, and it's called a golf ball." And he did say that, and he put it down, and he hit the first one, and it didn't go very far. And then he hit the second one, and of course, being very naive about the actual...
It went into space.
Well, I said to him, so when you hit that ball is still going.
Yes.
And he looked at me and he went, well, not really. Because there's a third of gravity on the moon here. So it went a third further than it would have been
a third
further
because
than
the
if you had done
gravity
it on
the
Earth.
moon. So when you hit, it'll land, but on the moon, it'll go further.
Right, and when he hit it, he said, his exact words were, "It went miles and miles and miles." And they're still up there,
well,
you know.
It did. The golf balls are.
And you know what?
This is really a funny story.
It's true. And he would not, he didn't tell me, but he wouldn't tell the name of the golf balls.
Well, no, probably didn't. Well, maybe he wasn't allowed to do that. Well, who could tell him not to? Because nobody knew what he was doing anyway. So
but he knew. He knew.
He could have done that.
I don't know whether he told me it was Spalding or. But I mean, you know, it would have been great for the
company.
Oh, right.
The Spalding ball is on the moon.
but you know, the 6-iron that he chopped all up. Is in the USGA Museum in New Jersey.
Do you know, this is really, I didn't know that we were going to go this direction.
Oh,
we're now in space.
Way.
Forget the opera.
We go from Weber to space.
Yeah, from Weber to space.
But when we're doing that show November 7th, and I'll come back on and tell you.
Yeah, we're going to bring you back on.
I'll bring you.
Yeah, Rose is going to be a reoccurring guest all the time because you've got so much going on.
Like something.
So we've got to get it all out there.
I'm like a tick on the dog.
Well, how can anybody no, you're not a tick on the dog. She thinks I missed that one, didn't she? No, I didn't miss it. I heard what you said.
Tickets. Okay, you want tickets. It's going to be at the Summerlin Performing Arts Center on February.
Woohoo.
Boy, I'm into February.
14th?
September 19th.
September
the 19th. It's 2:30 p.m. And you can get tickets at rosekingsley.com or showtix.com or our phone number 760-636-0008. 0 like the golf balls. 000.
And the 3 golf balls.
3 golf balls.
I love it. I love you. I love you. You're amazing.
So are you. Oh, sorry,
we just love each other.
We do.
We just get on. It's just an automatic thing.
Yes, it's a thing.
It happens. Do you know? People call it chemistry, but not in a sexual way. So don't misunderstand us all. Come on.
No, it's a kindred spirit.
Yeah, it is. It's we know each other. We know what we're doing. We know where we're going and what we've done. And I guess we like people, don't we?
We do, and we both. I mean, you've had such a great career, and
yeah, both of us have great careers.
We understand each other because of what we've been through.
Yeah, and sometimes you are alone.
Yeah, you are.
Sometimes you are alone, but you cherish those moments being alone.
You do.
Because the reason you cherish them is because you don't have much time alone. So enjoy them when you do have them. Thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon. And don't forget to go to YouTube. And also, again, I want to thank James Kelly and Quirky Minds Media for actually helping me out on my production and keeping me together and keeping me going. So thank you, James Kelly. We'll be right back with our next guest. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.